don't be fooled. We're going to part 4, and this camera's going straight into the thumbnail if you don't get the video going soon. We'd better get this going.
Epic fail.
The wacky world of MultimediaJay.
Well, the Lenovo machine has left the Geek House, and we're back tinkering with this thing one last time. Here we are, part 4 of Windows 10 versus the eMachine. I seriously didn't think it would go on this long. Well, then again, Project EVTO wasn't supposed to go on this long either, but hey, for the sake of being consistent with the playlists and whatnot. So, yeah, I've already done most of what I want to do with this machine in terms of getting it working, but there are a few unanswered questions and loose ends to tie up, and it's going to get a little weird, kind of like to the point where we want to move on when this is all over. I liken what I want to do today to looking up an answer in the back of the book back in my school days. When you looked up like the answer to a math problem or something in the back of the textbook back in the day, you technically would get the answer, but it might not be the most polished of an experience compared to the rest of the textbook. That's kind of what we're doing today. This might get a little random, this might get a little nerdy, but by all means, we're going to want to move on when it's over. So let's answer the remaining questions about this whole eMachine experiment. So, first order of business. This thing has 4 gigs of RAM installed, but only sees 2.75 of those 4 gigs. I figured it was probably a limitation of the memory controller, because it's an eMachine. Some folks in the comments thought so too. It's actually worse. Because this is a haha eMachine, the chipset in this is actually the nerfed version of the chipset that otherwise would have come on this board back in the day, the non-eMachines version of this motherboard. So it actually is only set up to do 2 gigs of RAM. So not even the 3 max for a 32-bit OS, like Windows Vista Home Basic or whatever. However, this did seem to run a little better off of the Kuesuny RAM back when we were running 32-bit Windows on it. So I'm actually going to pull 2 sticks of the Kuesuny RAM from mid-naughts, put them in here, and just see what happens with the RAM numbers. So, is there really a stupid little difference between cheap RAM for old computers on Amazon? So, get this Duo Mechie, whatever the heck it is, out of here. Let's put in 2 sticks of the Kuesuny and mess with mid-naughts unnecessarily to answer one of the leftover questions from the eMachine experiment. Okay, messing with mid-naughts completely unnecessarily, and let's have a little fun since we're not actually going to fire up mid-naughts. Let's do this the wrong way. Take out 2 sticks from different channels. It's the same RAM in all 4 slots, so at least little stupid little RAM sticks that you can get on Amazon these days. Seriously. Yeah, we're doing this completely wrong, but the eMachine doesn't have to know that the channels are all messed up for the RAM now in mid-naughts. The vendor for the Duo Mechie RAM was actually contacting me on Amazon. Hey, why did you return this? I'm like, did your own representatives even remember that you guys shorted me? You sent me a 4 gig kit with only 1 stick in it? 1 2 gig stick, I should say, by the way, for the smartassery that is a thing on the internet. Alright, where'd I put the Kuesunys again? Not exactly a teeny-weeny kabini, for those of you that remember that reference from earlier in this channel's history. Little bitty Kuesuny sticks. Are they really going to perform better, or is it just the way the memory was counted in 32-bit Windows 10? Well, let's face the music. This computer sucks. Ready for some prime time? And the monitor's probably on the wrong source. Woo! Blast those fans, power supply. Whatever. Alright, is it going to switch back to HDMI automatically? No, of course not. Because it's a stupid Samsung. Well, Samsung monitors normally aren't stupid, but this one is. Ah, finally, some proper HDMI. Yeah, sorry, Dad. You gotta get rid of that D-sub. Let me get you a graphics card whenever they don't cost an arm and a leg. Bring Lenovo back. Or maybe I'll run out of cards because I'll cycle them through the machines and have a... No. I'd have to give him the 1050 Ti, and I'm not doing that anytime soon. Behold, hard evidence that the piece of junk still works. Behold, even more hard evidence, 2.75 gigs usable, that this was merely a memory controller thing, and it was a 32 versus 64-bit thing when it appeared that more RAM was available in 32-bit Windows 10. So yeah, limitation of the motherboard. What can I say? It's an eMachine. There's really nothing much that you can say. These machines were made for a very specific purpose, and it wasn't to be the best machines out there. Oh man. Yeah, mid to late 2000s eMachine, baby. So I just gotta say, for the people taking this machine so darn seriously in the comments, stop working yourself up for nothing. I know this thing is a piece of junk. I have no real expectations for it. And if I fry the darn thing, no big loss. I'll take it to the town's recycling shed, and that'll be the end of it. Heck, I didn't even put an SSD in this pathetic piece of crap. Speaking of pathetic piece of crap, is there any way we could make it slightly less of a pathetic piece of crap? All the RAM is back where it belongs now. Note to myself for later. If Midnaughts doesn't start right, or doesn't register all of its RAM properly the next time I fire it up, whenever the heck that is, it's the eMachine's fault. Stupid computer experiments. Night 2. Well, sort of night 2. The sun is still up, kids are playing outside, folks are taking their dogs for a walk, going on motorcycle rides, the whole 9 yards. The neighborhood hasn't quieted down yet, but I'm not waiting. So, there's polishing a turd, and then there's what we're going to do with this thing. So, yeah, I think I've about had enough of the Celeron in this piece of crap. So, since we know that it's from the Conroe era, mid to late 2000s, will it work with the Core 2 that I used to use? Or is the motherboard just that terrible? First, we gotta see how the heck we get at the processor in this thing. I think I still have some Arctic Silver left over, but if I totaled this machine tonight, well, it's no big loss. Let's put it on the towel to not scratch its pathetic little case, and let's see how that CPU goes together. Oh, the screws all come off at once like that. Well then, let's see what kind of concrete we have for heatsink stuff on this. Oh yeah, that was a thermal pad, so technically the heatsink compound on the Celeron was applied via the spread method. Looks like there's a little bit of dust off to the sides too that we gotta clean out. Shouldn't be hard at all. Let's get the old Celeron out of there, clean this up, and see if the heatsink works. Can I ever detach this fan then? Interesting. Looks like the... How do we clean underneath? I guess we gotta blow through it in the other direction. Alright, let's grab an air can. Well, the Celeron is out. Good old socket 775. And for those wondering about compatibility, we're going from an 06 Celeron to technically an 05 Core 2 Duo, if I can get the camera in the right spot. Technically to an 05 Core 2 Duo. So, just we're going from terrible processor in 06 to okay processor in 05. So hopefully there isn't a compatibility issue with this thing. I'm just going to have to look up where to put the heatsink compound on all of this. And of course, let's dig out the stuff we use for Arctic Silver, things along those lines. And then we'll put everything in. There's some dust, though, that accumulated around the socket that nothing could get to. And I don't know how I can get that out without risking shorting something. So, I don't know. If it ain't broke, don't fix it. Then again, we're already doing that because technically this machine wasn't broke. Whatever. Okay, Arctic Silver recommends a vertical line application method between the two notches. The notches are horizontal, so it is literally going to be a vertical line up and down the processor with this. It's an older die, so it's bigger, so we can't use the dot method. Let's get all the surfaces cleaned out and let's put some compound on this thing. Ugh, not exactly a line, but surfaces have been cleaned and compound has been applied, I really don't care if I ruin all this. Bottoms up! Actually, for you Elder Scrolls players in the audience, doesn't that kind of look like a Daedric symbol of some sort? Not a good sign. Yeehaw, motorcycles! And I'm in here messing with a computer. Sounds about right for a nerd. And just like that, it's back together. I don't know why I'm always nervous about installing CPUs. I mean, these CPUs for these old machines these days are like $5 or something on eBay or something like that. It's just, you know, if you've ever had a brand new computer that you've put together, yeah, you get a little nervous with that. But it's crazy to think of how prices just drop over the years to the point where you're dealing with $5 processors, $15 RAM sticks. This is how you get into PC hardware, by the way. Get a cheapo dinosaur system and see how far it'll go. Or you can make it go, I should say. Either way, let's apply power to this thing and hope we don't get a smoke show. Windows 10 versus the eMachine, Part 4, Core 2 Duo, Maiden Voyage. Do we get any postcodes? What the? Where's the processor going nuts? Was that changing the processor? Changed that? Is something not plugged in? What? Are you kidding me? Unfortunately, it just powered on. Nope, no postcode or anything. Somehow I got a feeling that the E6750 either doesn't work anymore or doesn't work with this motherboard.
Epic fail.
Okay, no graphics, no RAM. Should be post material. I don't think this is going to do anything though. So listen to a hard drive. Maybe this isn't good for it. Probably should unplug the hard drive while we were at it. Yeah, this isn't going to do anything. And unfortunately, I know the reason why.
Epic fail.
I'll tell you right now, the birds that are chirping and the motorcycle guys that are out riding around are having way more fun than I am right now. Oh, so you're ready for the dumbest reason ever why one of these computers doesn't work? So, the ECS motherboard that runs these eMachines, I looked up the processor support list. The last processor, the highest end processor that these motherboards support is the E6700. This Core 2 Duo is an E6750. I am exactly one processor away from my Core 2 Duo being compatible with this motherboard. Exactly one processor away, representing 1 year of technology, and that's the one reason why this machine will not give the Core 2 Duo a new place to call home. 06 versus 07 in terms of when the processors were released. One model number away. Same nanometers, same Core 2 Duo, same Conroe family, not supported. A BIOS update would fix this, but this motherboard already has the latest BIOS available because it was an eMachines piece of crap that didn't get any updates. There you freaking go. Do I even want to put the Celeron back in this thing and run this crappy thing into the ground? Yes, because I feel like being a total douche muffin tonight. Wow, what a waste of thermal compound. Whatever.
Epic fail.
If you listen closely enough, you can hear this thing mocking me. This Celeron, whether you know it or not, is an Aerosmith fan, because it's saying in its own little way, "I'm back in the socket again." Yeah, my voice don't go that high, sorry. I'm not Steven Tyler. I'm back in the socket again. Shut up. Can't believe it, but I guess, well, let's put the Celeron back in, is now in my vocabulary. All because of this thing being a piece of crap. This eMachine is like the first system I've ever worked with that I actually wished would get fried in a lightning strike. To think, if my dad had gotten this thing fried somehow, now I wouldn't have to be dealing with all of this right now, and we would have gotten him a much better computer a lot sooner. But hey, life is what it is. And now I hear lawnmowers going, so the motorcycle folks have noticed it's about to start raining, so hurry up, get home, put the bikes away, and mow the lawn! Apparently Celerons can work with just the dot method. Well, single core, what are you gonna do? That'll probably spread over everything when we put some weight on it anyways. Well, this is an awful lot of work just to get some new thermal compound on this ancient processor now, isn't it?
Epic fail.
Lawnmowers are still going and echoing up and down the street. Hopefully this piece of junk drowns them out now that the Celeron is back in. Well, for a couple of seconds anyways. I don't know why my card reader keeps randomly coming unplugged. Okay, I think it's a computer again. Whatever. Well, Core 2 Duo, I guess it's back in the blister pack now. Someday we'll find a home for you. That's probably gonna be a trash bin, I don't know. Well, I've let this thing churn for a bit horizontally in order to kind of break in some of that new thermal compound. This really is just, well, I really don't know what to think of this computer anymore. Just everything we've tried to do to make it better is just, nope. eMachines hath said that it shall always be crap, no matter what. I think this machine actually has more value as, like, a joke system. Take all the hardware out, it is pretty much ATX standard. You can probably do micro ATX in this thing. So, you know, put a board in here that's way newer, put a newer power supply in, go around with a gaming PC that can do pretty decently, and yet it says eMachines on the front, Celeron inside. So, there is one more thing I want to do with this thing, and that is, there's an old graphics card that will pretty much give this thing an HDMI port and nothing else. I'd really like to have an HDMI port on this thing without the GTX 1050 Ti being in here. 1050 Ti is just way too nice for this piece of junk. Asus GeForce, like 8800 GT, something like that, I forgot what it was. It's an old card from the 2000s. Last time it actually gave me graphics card errors because it wasn't working right. No signs of capacitor plague or anything, but let's just see, did it not work last time because of dust on the connector, or does it just suck that much? This thing has integrated graphics with D-Sub if we really want to have this thing running with complete crap. This is one of the biggest graphics downgrades I've ever done to a system, but it matches the crappy-ass processor. And the overall crappiness of the system where it's just like designed to not be upgraded. What does it do? Besides that, of course. Oh, it posts! So it must have been a compatibility issue with the last system I tried running this in. But how come it's not showing anything on the screen? I wonder. HDMI? Yeah, it's set to HDMI. We'll see if it loads anything. Might take a while to download a driver. No. The graphics card is dead. You know how I know? Switch over to HDMI, and nothing happens. But when it flips back over to analog, we get something on the screen. Yep, see? Yeah, the graphics card is dead. Analog shows a picture. Yep, the graphics card is dead. Yeah, so the reason why I didn't get a postcode is because this crappy Celeron has integrated graphics, and the AMDs I've used to use in the 2000s going into the 2010s don't. So this graphics card is just useless. It gets power and not much else.
Epic fail.
Well then, integrated graphics it is. I'm not wasting a perfectly good 1050 Ti on something like this when it could go back into Delosaurus Rex from whence it came. We need something more appropriate, aka the cheapest graphics card out there, if there even is one, in order for this thing to have graphics. And Celeron 2 gigahertz, I mean, what even would we want to put in here in the first place? It's like, Is it even similar to that of a Pentium 4 2 gigahertz from the early 2000s, and this thing could play like some like 2000s games or something? I almost think this thing would have been better off running XP. Ah yes, Delosaurus Rex. Finally, something more respectable to put an extra 1050 Ti in. Like I said, something more respectable. Let's give this thing its long overdue Windows updates from the past few weeks. Updates are done, and this looks much, much better. You know, if we're going to have a system sitting over here in the project area for long periods of time, it might as well be something respectable. Till next time, this is MultimediaJay, signing off. Thanks for stopping by.